Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Fulham at Craven Cottage. So obviously Bruno Fernandes was mentioned and Amad Diallo Traore was mentioned. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has defended Bruno Fernandes and denies that he needs a rest. And he said his form is very good. Obviously, he was voted Player of the Month for December. He's won that now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Don't forget, Bruno Fernandes is one yellow card away from suspension. I think Fernandes has been at the club now, is it a year? But yeah, this is what he did say fully regarding Fernandes. He said his form is very good. Just voted Player of the Month like I mentioned. Not tired. No chance. He's one of the players that runs and covers the ground every single game. Good at recharging his batteries, and if he scored his free kick, if it had just had a little air on the ball, when Luke put the cross in, he'd have been lauded as best player in Premier League again. He's been immense, he's not tired, and if I ask him, he'll stay. There's no chance he's tired. He's expected to create goals, score goals, and sometimes the margins are against him. That free kick thought was in. Some passes he plays are marginal. On or off, he's always on the verge of creating something when he loses the ball, and that's what he's been told to do. I want to play the passes he sees. So that was the full thing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had said regarding Bruno Fernandes. But in most of Bruno Fernandes' games at Man United, he has been very consistent. There's only been the odd few games where he has looked off the pace. Fernandes was disappointed that we didn't win a trophy last season, because obviously he said he came to Manchester to win trophies. He predominantly plays in that number 10. So yeah, so let's get on to Amad Diallo Traore. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said that Amad Diallo Traore could be part of the first team squad in the next few weeks' time. So this was the full thing, what Solskjaer said about Amad Diallo Traore. You know, he was asked how's Amad Diallo settled, and Solskjaer said, you know, very good. He can handle the ball. He's enjoyed training, makes a difference in training, which is quite remarkable at his age. Some adjustment to settle into the hustle and bustle of the Premier League, but I can't see it too long until he's in the squad. 4 or 5 weeks until his debut, but like I said, Solskjaer said it could be earlier than that. It says here, yeah, it might be quicker than that. He's definitely settled down well. Players have taken him. He's a good character, polite, smiley boy who works really hard. He's doing his sessions, getting used to us. There's always a period of adjustment needed, but he's still settling in well. So that was what Solskjaer said regarding Amad Diallo Traore. We got Amad Diallo Traore for what, £19 million. That's what we paid up front, but it said it could rise up to £37 million with add-ons. It was made official earlier on this month, Amad Diallo Traore to Man United, but we actually agreed the deal back in October last year. Few other questions as well. At the beginning of the press conference, Solskjaer spoke about Fulham a bit. You know, this is what he said about Fulham. You know, he says, I think they've had a good turnaround from a slow start. They've made some very good signings towards the end of the window, and they're very well coached. Scott Parker and the team trust their own organisation, team shape, and it's one of the hardest teams to break down. Hard enough to go to Craven Cottage anyway, but at the moment they're really well structured on and off the ball. Quick, strong players defensively and players that can make the difference. Another tough game in the Premier League. I think Fulham have only lost one of their last 7 games. I've seen improvements in Fulham since they got that draw with Liverpool back in early December. But despite that, they are sitting 18th in the Premier League, so they are relegation fodder. And to be honest with you, I think they are going to go back down this season. The last time we played Fulham was almost 2 years ago. We're beating them 3-0, and that was back in February 2019. And Scott Parker's been Fulham's manager now for around 20 months. This was another question, worried about top 6 record. Obviously, we can't beat the big teams under Solskjaer. That's been proven so far this season. We haven't beaten Tottenham, we lost to them 6-1. Haven't beaten City, haven't beaten Chelsea, haven't beaten Leicester, haven't beaten Arsenal, and we didn't beat Liverpool recently. So, do you basically think that we've got to start beating the big teams if we are to be genuine title contenders? So this is what Ollie's response to this was anyway. Of course, we've had some tight games against the teams around us this season. It's going to be tight. Tottenham are the only team around us who have beaten us, not conceded. Chelsea, City, Liverpool built some defensive momentum, and if you keep on winning the games we have done lately, I think we've got a good chance of staying competitive towards the end. So that was Ollie's response to that one. This is the team news ahead of the game. 2 players are ruled out, and that is Brandon Williams and Phil Jones. Solskjaer's confirmed because they didn't train. But yeah, this is what I said. We've not got test results from COVID, and it's almost 30 hours ago, so hope we get them soon. Everyone trained this morning, like I said, prior to Brandon Williams and Jones, and the rest were on the pitch. This was Solskjaer on more players leaving this month, because not so long ago he admitted that there could be further more departures from Man United in this January transfer window. We recently saw Timothy Foster-Mensah leave the club. I think Ollie's mentioned that another 2 could go in this January window, but this is what he said anyway to that question. I don't want to go into individuals, but we can probably allow 1 or 2 more to go, like I just said. But the strength we have is we have a deep squad. Strength in depth. We don't want to give our advantage away by easing off on our players. I can't give you a better answer than that. This was another question. You're worried about recent lack of goals. All his response to that was, I think this season we've scored more goals, created more chances than before. It's a matter of time until those margins that we were against Liverpool tip our way again. Relationships are working better. The foundation will always be the hard work and the shape, and at Manchester United we are expected to create chances from everywhere. So that was the response to that. And this was another one. Are you enjoying being Man United manager? Solskjaer said, of course I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't and I didn't feel I was giving something back to the club. I can't say there's a lot I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy leaving players out. It's hard for big games, players who deserve to play. It's a difficult job to tell them on Sunday they're not in a job, and on Monday they're back in a job. The chat to explain why they don't play isn't a good one because of reasons to play, but that's what I love about the job as well. Working with human beings to get the job of individuals so we can get the team together. So yeah, So this is what was mentioned during the press conference. So there you go. Now, I've already given you my preview for the Fulham game. Yesterday, I give you my starting 11 prediction. And like I've said, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to rest some key players. Yeah, he's going to make some changes from the 0-0 draw with Liverpool. Now, we are unbeaten away from home in the Premier League for a year. And we are unbeaten in our last 12 Premier League games. So you can see that Solskjaer has made very, very good progress in the last year or so. We recently drew 0-0 with Liverpool. I think we'd have been more happier with the point than Liverpool would have been. But there again, Solskjaer gave his perception on the 0-0 draw with Liverpool. And he said, he was disappointed. And he admitted that we lacked composure. But it was a missed opportunity for us, because if we'd have beaten Liverpool, we would have been 6 points ahead of them, and it would have put us in more of a commanding position. And plus, if we'd have beaten Liverpool, we'd have ended their unbeaten record at Anfield in the Premier League. Liverpool are unbeaten at Anfield in the Premier League since April 2017. So I think the 68 games unbeaten now at Anfield in the Premier League. We haven't won at Anfield since 2016. But despite us drawing, we are still top of the Premier League by 2 points. And Solskjaer, has been playing mind games. He did say, didn't he, prior to the Burnley game, that Man United must stay humble and not think they've cracked it if they go top. He was saying after the 1-0 win against Wolves earlier on in the season that, we're not in the title races yet, but if we are still challenging in March, he'll start to believe that we are in the title race. If we don't win the league this season, we'll win another title at some point. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, but we could win it, Liverpool could win it, City could win it, Tottenham could even win it, and even Leicester could win it. But Solskjaer made an admission regarding Liverpool, didn't he, prior to the game? And, he did mention that obviously Liverpool have been the best team in England for the past 18 months, and they have been great for the past 3 years. But against Liverpool, I thought it was a very good defensive performance. For me, Luke Shaw was man of the match. He definitely had Salah in his pocket. Luke Shaw didn't undefend well. He got forward well. I think, if I recall, he set up one of the chances. Harry Maguire had a good game, apart from the mistake he made in the first half. Lindelof did well. He made some very good clearances. And Wan-Bissaka also did well. De Gea didn't really have much to do, but he produced a fantastic save to deny Thiago. But we didn't really show a lot of attacking intent in the game against Liverpool. Obviously, it was Liverpool doing most of the attacking. Liverpool had their chances as well. Like I updated you recently, Jurgen Klopp criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics during the 0-0 draw with Liverpool. It was only a few weeks ago that Jurgen Klopp was moaning about the amount of penalties that we get. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had hit back at him for that and said, he must be influencing the referees. We do play Liverpool at the weekend in the FA Cup 4th round at Old Trafford. It's going to be interesting to see how both teams approach that game. To be honest with you, I think we'll go over different lineups as we did do in the league game against Liverpool, and I think Liverpool will also go over different lineups as they did against us in the league. We've won the FA Cup 12 times, so we're the second most successful team in FA Cup history. Liverpool have won it quite a few times, but they haven't won it since 2006. Liverpool haven't got the best of records at Old Trafford. I think they've only beaten us a couple of times at Old Trafford in the last, 10 or 11 years. But we actually haven't beaten Liverpool since the Jose Mourinho era. But yeah, anyway, our focus is on this game against Fulham tomorrow night. Yeah, it is a must-win for Man United. You know, Fulham have got some good players in their team. You know, I think one of their key players is Lookman. Mitrovic, now he's out with injury, but I think I heard he could be in contention for this game. Kamara, he's also one of their key players. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think, will be in contention to play in this game for Fulham. Fulham got Ruben Loftus-Cheek on loan from Chelsea. He didn't play against Chelsea, though, recently for Fulham, because obviously it's his parent club. They've also got Mario Lemina. They got him from Southampton. I think he's out with injury. Robinson is not going to be involved in this game because he's suspended. He got sent off in Fulham's 1-0 defeat to Chelsea. I think it also says that Bobby Reid is suspended. Congolo, I think he's also out with injury. So they've got a few players out. You know, Fulham have got that Cavallero. Seems to be a pretty good player. They've got that Anderson. I think they brought him in last year. So yeah, they are a few of Fulham's players. Our next league game after Fulham is Sheffield United. We should be certainly winning that. And after them, it's Arsenal. And Arsenal's going to be a tough game because they've improved in the last month or so. They've had some very good results. Earlier on in the season, Arsenal were facing a relegation battle. They were sitting 15th in the Premier League. And, you know, a lot of Arsenal fans were very critical of Arteta and was demanding him out. I think Arteta has been Arsenal manager now for over a year. We've got them at the end of this month. Now, you already know the news on the transfers and that. I give you the news, didn't I, this morning. I give you the latest news on David Alaba from Bayern Munich. Now, The Guardian recently said that David Alaba has agreed to join Real Madrid on a 4-year contract in the summer. But David Alaba's father has said there's no agreement in place with Real Madrid. And Sky sources have said there's no decision made over his future yet. But Real Madrid still remain the favourites. It does actually mention that Man United are in talks over the David Alaba deal. Liverpool are in for him. Barcelona are in for him. You know, Manchester City are in for him. It did actually say towards the end of last year that we made a formal offer for David Alaba. I think Bayern Munich have tried to offer him multiple contract offers. I think one they offered was around £13 million a year. But I think he's rejected this. David Alaba has been at Bayern Munich for 13 years now. He's won 20 major honours with them. He's made over 400 appearances in all competitions. Don't forget he did have a loan spell with Hoffenheim. Before he was at Bayern Munich, he was at Austria Vienna. I think he is the age of 28, so he's highly experienced. He's predominantly a centre-half or a left-back. But he has played as a central midfielder before, and he's also played on the left wing, and he's also played on the right wing. You know the news on Sergio Ramos. I give you the news on him yesterday. Me and McGarry was speaking to the Transfer Window podcast on YouTube, and he said Man United have made an approach for Sergio Ramos. And Sergio Ramos' brother has informed Real Madrid about our transfer approach. It recently said that we was willing to offer Sergio Ramos a 2-year contract, and it says we are considering about getting him on a free transfer. Sergio Ramos has been at Real Madrid for 16 years now. So he has been a long servant. He's made over 600 appearances in all competitions. I think he's scored around 100 goals for Real Madrid. Real Madrid got him back in 2005 from Sevilla. I think they paid around 27 million euros for him, but he is the age of 34. Plays as a centre-back, but earlier on in his career, he was a right-back. You know the news on Jadon Sancho as well. Raphael Hoggenstein has said that Jadon Sancho's January move away from Dortmund is possible, but it is unlikely. He says negotiations could resume in spring. Jadon Sancho recently made an admission saying that he has endured a difficult season with Borussia Dortmund, but he said he's happy to be back among the goals. Borussia Dortmund's CEO explained why he's been struggling this season, because he was expected to join us last summer. But if Sancho leaves, it will be the summer transfer window. I'm very, very sceptical it will be this January transfer window. France Football via Sports Witness recently said that Borussia Dortmund are looking for replacements for Sancho, and apparently they've identified their replacement. But we believe we can get him for less than £100 million this year. You know, last summer he was our number one priority target. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. But, you know, we was not willing to meet that valuation. I think we was only willing to pay £60 or £70 million up front. But he said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed. But they did make it clear to us, Dortmund, last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. And don't forget, we was willing to offer him the number 7 shirt, but Fabrizio Romano's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga. Bill's Christian Farks also spoken about it a lot. And yesterday I did give you the news, didn't I, on Donny van der Beek. Edwin van der Sar, the Ajax CEO, said he spoke to people at Manchester United about Donny van der Beek. And Van der Sar said Man United remain confident that Donny van der Beek will be a success at Old Trafford. And Van der Sar also mentioned that he's showing fantastic attitude in training despite his lack of game time. Don't forget, Ronald de Boer urged Donny van der Beek to leave Man United earlier on this month to boost his chances for the Euros. And Solskjaer's actually been criticised by Donny van der Beek's agent for benching him. Van der Beek has only started 2 games in the league so far this season. But yeah, I think he's got to be starting tomorrow night against Fulham. You know, Donny van der Beek can play in like 3 different roles. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax. But anyway, you know, Solskjaer's already given us an update on our January transfer plans. You know, he did mention earlier on this month that January signings are unlikely. But I think we are looking to make around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. I think quite a few players are going to leave Man United this year as well. Obviously, if 1 or 2 more leave in this window like Solskjaer has said. But more will leave in the summer. Now, Ollie's already confirmed that Marcus Rojo and Phil Jones Marcus Rojo and Sergio Romero are free to leave in this January window because he says their contracts won't be extended. Will Phil Jones leave in this January window? Jesse Lingard. Now, Solskjaer is in a disagreement over Jesse Lingard's future. They are at a tug of war at the moment. I heard Solskjaer recently saying that he actually wants Lingard to stay at the club this month. Now, it does mention that Nice have culled their interest, so that means now he'll have to stay at Man United for now, because Sky Sports said not so long ago that Lingard's representatives were talking with Nice regarding a loan move. West Ham the other week were talking with Jesse Lingard's agent. Sheffield United have also been in for him. Villa have been in for him. Celtic and Rangers were in for him towards the end of last year. And it said towards the end of last year that Real Sociedad were talking with Jesse Lingard's agent. You know, Lingard obviously lost his place in the team a while ago, but he has been part of the club for several years. Magalo, I think, should be leaving because his loan expires at the end of this month. You know, there's obviously been rumours of Daniel James going out on loan, and there's been rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan. You know, Paul Pogba could still leave the football club in the summer. Matic could leave in the summer, and possibly Juan Mata could leave in the summer. But Ed Woodward has already informed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, that the club needs to be careful with their spending in the transfer market. You know, this January transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window at the football club. You've got to say it's another window where he has been let down again. I think all the transfer windows he's enjoyed so far, he hasn't been backed enough, especially last summer, because we missed out on his priority targets. But, you know, Woodward has promised, you know, that he'll back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, he did say towards the end of last year he will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. But like I've mentioned before, the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. But despite our reluctance to back Solskjaer, you know, I still think he has made good signings as Man United manager. You know, he's spent over £200 million at the club. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. I do also like the way Ole has promoted the youth, because he has given the young players their chances since he got appointed in, and he's obviously brought more young players into the club as well. You know, we've also seen a lot of players depart the club since he got recommended in. Solskjaer, like I said, is the first manager to get at the top of the league at this stage of the season since the Ferguson era. He got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. You know, he did well last season in his first full season. Got us qualification for the Champions League. Got us third, and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. In some of his games at Man United, he showed a lot of tactical flexibility. But his decision-making's got to be good persistently, because there's obviously been a lot of games as well where he has been tactically naive. And I did say that's one of my biggest concerns about Solskjaer. Yeah, there is 3 trophies that we can pursue this season. You know, we can win the Premier League, we can win the FA Cup, and we can also win the Europa League. I think we'll win a trophy this season, and it's very imperative that we do get our first trophy on the board under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because we haven't won a trophy now for, is it just over 4 years. And Solskjaer's going to be given at least another season at Man United. Obviously, if we win the Premier League this season, then we can all say he is a long-term manager for Man United. You know, this is his second full season at the club. I always said this season was going to be a big season for him. But I think Solskjaer's learned quite a lot since he got recommended in. There's probably still things on the job he's got to learn. Like I've mentioned on my recent videos, he has gained some managerial experience. And you've got to say, he has done well to say he's not a manager at the top level. I think he's bringing the old Man United back. Because obviously the performances are improving, players are improving. We've come from behind in a lot of games this season as well to win, especially, you know, the games away from home. I think Solskjaer He's on course to earn himself a new contract, like I recently mentioned. Gary Neville believes the same thing. I think Solskjaer is more than halfway through now his 3-year deal at the club. When he got the job in March 2019, he did sign a 3-year deal. We give Ola the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But yeah, Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager now for over 2 years. But I've got to give Man United credit for sticking with Solskjaer because he could have quite easily have been sacked, because obviously we have enjoyed bad periods under him, and don't forget Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to replace him. Pochettino was the favourite to take over at Man United after Jose Mourinho had got sacked. But yeah, Solskjaer's been our manager since December 2018 because that's when we appointed him in. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.